Hello and welcome to episode 2 of my adventures in the Rhondda Valley, renovating the Hendrwen Hotel in Blaen Cwm. It started out as just, I could do that kind of project. You know, I've renovated houses before, but as it unfolded, the complications of renovating a pub that really hadn't had a lot of TLC for many years became very apparent. And if I hadn't been surrounded by lots of people who could give me good advice, I would be in a right old mess. As it was, I was still in a right old mess. But I had people who could tell me how bad the mess was. So make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so we can let you know when the next video is out. But for now, sit back and enjoy episode 2 of Oops, I Bought a Pub. Oops, I bought a pub.
I'm Martin Roberts and I've bought a pub in the Welsh Valleys. It's that one there, and it's currently in a bit of a state. However, my vision is to turn it into a thriving community hub and also a go-to destination for visitors. The area certainly has masses going for it, and it's following in the success of North Wales in becoming a tourism hotspot. Within 20 minutes of my pub, there are 2 world-class mountain bike areas, a new multi-million-pound zip wire centre, and the main Heads of the Valley road that links South Wales with the Midlands is currently having its final stretch turned into dual carriageway, cutting journey times considerably. There's also potential for the reopening of the Rhondda Tunnel, a Victorian railway tunnel that linked the Rhondda Valley with Swansea, and that, if reopened as a walking and biking tunnel, would catapult the area onto the world's tourism stage. Because for half of the year, when its rival in America is closed due to snow, it would be the longest such tunnel on the planet. Oh, and my pub would be about 500 yards from one of its entrances. But all that's in the future. To talk about what's happening in the area right now and the prospects for my pub, I've invited along Adrian, who runs the Lion Pub in Treorchy and who is also heavily involved in the local business community, to share his thoughts.
Adrian, thanks for coming. Do you know this pub?
I know more of it. So I'm from a couple of villages down. It's always been a good pub. It's in the back of Beyond. But almost the goalposts have changed now for this community. I think whereas with tourism growing in this area, I think it could be a phoenix from the ashes type sort of story here.
So I think it's a really good pub. It's not unlike a lot of pubs around here, unloved, needs a bit of TLC, but there's so much potential as well.
Tell me a bit about the area in Treorchy. I know you're very much involved in the local business community, aren't you?
The valleys as a whole are a left behind place. So as the coal mines closed, we came together as a community. So we became entrepreneurial, we became creative. And in the last 6-7 years, we've had about 35 new businesses open up in Treorchy.
Wow.
And we entered the Champion High Street about 3 years ago, won that, and then got locked down during COVID. So we weren't able to celebrate it, but because they haven't held the competition since, we're the longest running Champion High Street in the history of the UK. So, and we're going to keep on banging those drums, and we're continuing to promote ourselves and move forward, and that's part of our sort of post-COVID recovery.
I think Martin's got his work cut out. I admire his bravery. If he invests well and looks after the local community, they will look after him as well.
Let's talk about the bigger picture of the hospitality industry. I mean, we hear so many stories now, terrible stories about the number of pubs that are closing. How is it for you? Because, you know, you run a successful pub, but you must be frightened.
Definitely. Any savings, any plan Bs that we had, all went on COVID. I mean, I've had my pub for 11 years, and we've always been through austerity and, you know, money's tight. But this is the first time that I'm seeing that all my customer base are going to be short as well. So it's a perfect storm really, where we might have less customers and also more costs coming in. It's not an easy game to get into, but what an industry.
Running a successful premises within hospitality is a real tough egg to crack. But in the valleys, people like a good night out, people like to enjoy themselves, and we like nice things as well. So I think that if he invests well and looks after the local community, they will look after him as well.
What about me then? What about me in this place? Because I don't have experience. I'm honest about it. I've never run a pub. I've never run a hotel. I've never run a restaurant. What kind of challenges are ahead of me?
Well, I know a lot of people that know exactly what they're doing that would fail. Yeah? But then I know people that don't know what they're doing that will succeed. Anyone can teach you how to change a barrel, right? Anyone can teach you how to pour a pint or do a coffee, but then having that passion, to run your own business, having that being the center of the community and charismatic, you might need to learn to be that. But yeah, having the want and the drive to do it is the main thing. If you show that you put people before profit, it's not just about making a quick buck. If you can offer something that the community really want, then they will back you.
His biggest challenge is possibly immersing himself in the local community. But I think he's a likeable guy. Don't tell him I said that. But because he's off the telly, he's got that impact straight away. If he can, bring the community together, they will back him then to the hilt.
What are my biggest challenges? Then?
So I would say, for this particular site, one of your biggest challenge and why you bought it in the first place, why you shut down, is because it's remote. The first thing is to become relevant, to advertise what you do outside of this small community, so that people further down the valley want to come up to you, whether that's food, whether that's events that you put on, could be, you've got a great outside area, could be barbecues, you're not going to get better views than what you've got around here. And I think we're only as good as the hotels and the B&Bs or the Airbnbs or whatever that may be. We're only as good as the places where people can stay.
I think what would work here, I think this is more of a destination place. I think food will be a big reason to visit. The natural beauty of the area, so visitors and tourism come in. We support each other within this community, and we support each other within this industry as well. So I'll give him any advice, any help he needs to start a successful business.
It's people like yourself opening places like this for people to stay, and to keep the wealth, keep the money within our community. So a proper circular economy where creating local jobs, giving the facility for tourism to grow in the area, and giving back to the local people.
Great. Well, I'll do my best.
No pressure.
Will you offer some advice, please?
Yeah,
Ongoing.
definitely.
Thank you.
At a cost.
Much appreciated. Rounds on me.
So far, so good. Now, the tricky bit. This is my wife, Kirsty, and our kids, Scott, who's 15, and Megan, who's 12. They are used to my madcap ideas and crazy initiatives. But I have to confess, I thought this one might be stretching their imagination, so I might have forgotten to tell them I was buying it. So it's the moment of truth, and today Kirsty, Scott and Megan are seeing the Hendruan for the first time.
So, this is it.
Whoa. Like a time warp.
So sorry I didn't kind of mention this too much about,
Look at all the glasses.
But look, it's just an opportunity that I didn't think you could miss, really.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to find out about this, I think, pretty much when we completed. I think there's sort of a passing comment about, oh yeah, there's this pub hotel thing going on, and it seemed like a good deal, and and nothing much more was said until I think it was like, Yeah, we bought a pub today. Did you know?
Some might argue that I kind of kept it a little bit quiet from the family. Yeah, sticky one that. Anyway, too late now, I own it.
Martin has done things like this in the past where he's sort of just gone off on a whim, shall we say, and it's usually worked out all right in the end, so I have to trust him on that.
He's mental. I think he's gone completely mad, honestly.
It's got a lot of work, but I reckon he'll be able to do it.
So this is the kitchen, and I have to say it is a little bit icky. So,
Oh my God, everything has just been left as it was.
it's got everything you need.
Yeah.
It's even got the oil in the fryer.
Oh, bloody. Getting the property itself renovated, yeah. Bit more of a bigger project, but for sure, we can do it. As far as running it as a business, wow, that is going into the complete unknown. Just head is spinning right now in terms of how we turn this around. It's like, yeah, buying a pub right in the middle of a time when all businesses are just massively stretched. That scares me. That does scare me.
This was the main lounge bar
It's really nice.
area.
This is a nice room.
This would have been at sort of the centre of the village, and you can just imagine people sitting around, you know, after a hard day in the pit or whatever, having their pints, and you know, it's got so much history, and that's what we want to try and remember that when we're doing it up there. We can try and get some of that feeling, which is really
Just
good.
seen the ceiling tiles.
Yeah, I don't like
they are
those.
something else, aren't they? Gotta
crap.
keep those. So I certainly think that I can help out in terms of the design. I know Martin is already starting to go right down rabbit holes in terms of, you know, what exactly he wants to have hanging on the walls and stuff like that. And I think sometimes I've almost got to pull him back from that and look at, you know, what do you want this place to be? And then you can get into the minutiae rather than just picking out the particular paint colour that you want to put on the walls as the first choice.
That area over there into more of a sort of loungy kind of shabby chic, sort of sit, have a cup of coffee, maybe have a pizza or whatever, and then this as a bit more of a sort of formal, maybe gastropub feel. I'm probably more an ideasy person than a sticking with it day to day kind of person. You know, the day to day operation is going to be an interesting challenge, and paperwork, and you know, and recruiting staff, and managing staff, and dealing with drunken customers. What am I doing? No, it'll be fine.
I can't see Martin managing a team, and actually I think he'd get bored quite easily of managing a team. If you don't know him, it will become very apparent that he wears his heart on his sleeves and he doesn't mince his words and he say what he thinks. And if you've peed him off that day, he'll tell you. And, you know, I'm usually the one that kind of has to sort of take the middle ground a little bit and go, you know what, you can't really say that, you need to consider this.
So what do you think?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's you've got to obviously see beyond the decor, but the space is fantastic.
I think the pub's really nice, honestly. I think there's loads of potential here because it's amazing bike parks around. There's Bike Park Wales, there's Black Mountains, there's loads.
It's a very nice area because obviously it's got loads of hills and mountains, which is absolutely beautiful.
Seeing it for the first time today been really exciting. I mean, I acknowledge that I'm seeing it on a lovely day, and if I'd walked in here in the midst of January when the beautiful mountains that are right beside us you can't even see, then I might have felt a little bit more daunted. I feel excited about it. I think it's got so much potential.
Well, I think the end result will be amazing, but then I definitely think that to get to the end result, it'll be very hard and take a long time.
He'll work very hard and spend a lot of time up here, but it'll pay off in the end because we'll be able to come here and I'll be able to come here when I'm 18 with my mates.
Can I just tell you what my vision for
Yeah.
the interior design is? Bark.
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 I don't think Martin has a clue what he's got himself in for. He's got lots to learn, lots to read up on.
So what do you do?
I'm a gas engineer.
A gas engineer?
International gas engineer.
gas engineer.
And I will work in the pub.
Will you? Oh, as a what?
Barmaid,
Barmaid,
cook,
cook.
you know, anything else.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, fair enough. See, I told you it was complicated. I hope you enjoyed that. There's lots more to come. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you sort of set your dongle thing. I don't know, something that dingles when you get a... You will think, you know what it's better than me. Yeah, and please enjoy the next episode of Oops, I Bought a Pub. When it comes out, until then, look after yourself.